Mic me up. You'll stay here? How my mic sound? How my mic sound? Man, I'm glad everybody's here.
ASAP.
I go by the name of,
Is that what it was saying?
ASAP. That's the king of the South.
I'm learning.
I'm learning.
I would have brought a little, probably on myself.
Yeah?
We would have never made it. But I'm glad everybody's here.
Y'all welcome. I am so thankful we're here. I'm excited about growth. I'm excited about everybody being rich. Because everybody says money ain't everything. I'm like, being broke isn't either.
I see a whole lot of dollars in here.
Oh, man. God created us to rule and reign. So thank you, Tamika.
Oh, my God.
You're a whole boss. Super honored that you're here.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah. And hey, handsome. God, you look good.
Thank you. I mean, it's good to have a first man that got a little swag and to go along with that. Who else have that? No other pastors have that.
Well, they sure ain't you.
Yeah. Talk a little business and stuff. Yeah.
Yo, let's pray us in so we can get started because we got a lot of fun stuff today. Father, I just thank you for your presence. Thank you, God, that you've given us wisdom and understanding that, Lord, it doesn't matter how far we are away from our goals, that 1 ounce of your favor can shift the atmosphere. And I pray in this place today that there's oil online for everybody that is joining us online, hundreds of people that are joining us online, that today there will be something said that will awaken a dream, that will awaken an ounce. Just that's all we need is one little mustard seed of faith. And you turn that into millions and billions. And so, Lord, I bind every spirit of generational curse in this place, every spirit of lack in this place, every ounce of DNA that says that we're going to stay struggling for the rest of our life and our money's going to be funny. I bind that in the name of Jesus. And I thank you, Lord, that we are the head and not the tail, that we are the top and not the bottom. And Lord, after this meeting today, our eyes are going to be open and it's going to be crazy favor of just how all of a sudden we're just like, how did that even happen? And it's because we now know we got wisdom and now we can see it. We can jump in it. We can elevate to it. We can buy it. All the things that we never thought was possible. Lord, I prophesy that 2025 and the rest of 2024, we're going to elevate to the right places that we belong. No longer are we going to stay stuck. No longer are we going to use excuses. No longer are we going to wait for the good moment. Nope. We're doing it now. In Jesus' name, amen, amen, and amen.
Amen.
That was good. I felt that.
Save some of that for tomorrow.
I'm gonna.
Before we start, I just want to say one thing, just based off of that specific prayer. We all came in this room because you're looking for something different. You're looking for something to change. So if that involves right now, we're talking about business, we're talking about home ownership, we're talking about revenue. But the one thing and the best thing that I can teach you about revenue is that if you are not tithing, you're not going to get where you need to go. It's just that simple. It is just that simple. And I can say that because I've tried it both ways. And I'm pretty sure that everybody in this room has tried it both ways. I have learned that tithing, and for me, I tithe right here. When I tithe here, I am blessed with abundance, the wealth, because this is wealth and money. And again, I can teach you everything about starting a business, owning a business, and owning a home. But if you are not investing in your church, 10%, or wherever you feel like your 10% needs to go. But understand, if you invest time, that's what you're going to get. So whatever your 10% you're investing in, that's what you're going to reap. So if you're looking for revenue, then I need you to sow $10. So I just wanted to say that because everything that we're going to talk about today is going to be something that you can take back with you and grow doesn't work out, we'll give it back to you. So I was like, okay, try this. I was like, let me try this. And it just multiplied. It multiplied. There was no reason for a refund. Right, right. So I just wanted to say that. So
I definitely understand that, but it took me a while to understand it. And I was in sales. I mean, thinking like, man, if I don't sell, then I don't have any money. My mom like, you need to do this. I'm just starting off selling, and I'm working probably at Saturn, maybe at Ford, and I recall, just like, okay, whatever, you don't listen to me. And I got a little higher. The higher I was getting, I would start making money. And I still wouldn't even listen to her. She was leaving out going to church. She said, boy, you need to give that money to the church. I was like, man, the church got money, mama. As I got higher, I left from Ford. I went to Cadillac. I got so higher. Yeah. And I got stuck. And I'm like, man, I'm selling cars that I don't even have to discount anymore. And I'm just selling it, just knowing exactly what to say. And I got stuck around like June. Everybody else was already at $150,000 at June. I'm like, man, I'm stuck at $40,000. And everybody's been there for 10, 15 years. So I'm the new guy. And I started tired. Tell you, it was around that fourth quarter. If anybody in sales and ever been in sales, and you know the fourth quarter, what it means. So it's around October, what my year was. In December, I still went on vacation. December the 20th, 23rd, I was at $165,000. Yeah. And I went on from Cadillac. I thought I couldn't go any higher. I went on to BMW because everybody that I had was like I already got an Escalade. I want that 7 Series with that peanut butter interior in there. I said, well, you know what? I think I'm gonna get that job over there. So come over there, meet me over there tomorrow. And when he came over there to meet me, I was doing an interview. And the guy hired me and said, you know those guys? I said, yeah, he's the #1 quarterback here. His name is Byron Leftwich. I just saw him on the news and stuff, and we met. I just went up and talked to him after I got out my interview. Yeah.
Like I know.
So this is sales. So you got to understand that, yeah. But I ended up getting the job. So I haven't stopped tithing yet. So yeah. So I understand. So we was here September last September, and I thought it was good to kind of start something like this and feel that when you belong to something, you belong to a church, you belong to an association. I had to figure out how to find those business where they say go join the Rotary Club, go over here and join this. I went looking at players. I went to go to nightclubs. I was gonna find my business. I looked at guys and I was tapping them on the shoulder while they was at the bar. And it was like, Fred, tell them, dude, I'm looking at, I watch you play and stuff, Now he's had one of the shows that called Pivot on a talk show. He didn't even talk that much. So we got to get outside our box. Yeah, we got to get outside our box. I started hosting networking event. Everybody was running around going to do let's go to that network. I said, I'm gonna build my own network.
Yeah, that's what we believe.
So this is what we're doing. We're building something for us. Yeah.
I love Tamika because we met last year, and I really believe that God has called me to activate, people for generational wealth because my parents were so broke. And they were preachers and pastoring, and in the church world, just like, you got to stay broke. And I was like, well, I'm not staying broke, I can still preach. And so God brought you into my life. And on the prayer calls, and I want to bring this in real quick because we got a lot of people in here that are wishful thinking. Not a lot, but a few people that are like wishful thinking, like it just seems like it's so far out. Like I look at all these people on social media and Y'all, when I tell you people are renting Airbnbs to do their reels and stuff like that, and it's real easy though when you're looking at people's lives to begin to compare your life to it and think you're too late. At 41 years old, I was making $11 an hour. And then within 11 years, look what God's done in my life. And so when I met you a year and a half ago, it was like you really are such a businesswoman. You got your hands in a lot of stuff. But on a prayer call, I said, Tamika can help you get new business financing. She can help you get your credit score up. And you got a lot of emails. The problem was people are weary when they send emails because they've tried everything else. And what we found in that was people were sending you emails and you would give them homework to fill out their information and they wouldn't do it. And so I want us to talk about that really quickly, how important it is for you to, even if you can't see it at that moment, how do you still buy in and say, I'm going to eat and sleep this. And in 30 days, 60 days, my whole life can look completely different. Why do you think it is people do not follow through?
It's a mindset. It's a mindset thing. For me, just as you, my parents were, I guess you would call them middle class, but we know what middle class looked like when we were all growing up, right? It wasn't, you would see other people and be like, you go home and be like, they had on Coach, because at the time, Coach was the big thing, and you got on Wrangler. You have on those types, so you want something different. So sometimes it's how you are raised. It's how your parents instill things in you. Now, I don't want to make it seem like our parents are not teaching us, because what I've learned over the course of what I've been doing is that my parents taught me all they knew.
That's it.
That's all.
That's it.
They could only teach me what they knew. So it was up to me to want to do something different or be different. And I'm not saying that my parents weren't doing what they needed to do. They had a home. The one thing that I saw that was different, and I can speak for African American families, is that my mom and dad owned a home. A lot of people growing up in our time or our generation or our demographic of Black people, you're renting. So we take that with us. So if you grew up renting a home, then you don't have the desire to buy because that's not what you saw. So you have to change your mindset. You literally have to change your mindset. My mindset was there at one point where I was like, this is my cap. I couldn't see the ceiling. I could only see where I was. So I was like, oh, I'm okay just renting from this person. And I started making excuses. I started saying, well, I don't want to be responsible for any of the maintenance on the house. See, we'll trick ourselves into thinking that that's exactly why we don't want to buy, but you know you do. And what it is that you don't know what to do to actually do it. So I will tell you, you just made the first step because you got in the room. Now you have to be willing to actually do something different. So my assistant, he makes me do things all the time that I just do not want to do. Okay, I do not. And as Kim will tell you, content was just never one of those things. And when we met and we talked, in meeting her, I became a mastermind. And if there's anybody in here that can join her mastermind group, it was an investment worth investing. One, it brought me fellowship. Yeah. It brought me friendship. It brought me sisterhood. And when you're growing and, excelling and going into different levels, you got to have that. You have to have that. So I'm sorry I just threw that plug in, but y'all do need to join her mastermind group. It is one-on-one coaching where she can take you wherever you are to the next level. Now, she mentioned that I had a bunch of businesses. I did, but my businesses were stuck because I needed a different mindset on how to get to a different level. So being okay with getting help is the first thing, because we are one that we're going to be like, I can do this, I can do it myself. Yeah, you can, but you can do it so much better with other people. They don't have to be your partner, but they can be a fellowship group. They can be someone that's going to talk to you and tell you how to get to the next level. But if you want to do something different, then you just have to do it. You just have to do it.
You know, I remember, when I kind of...
They said, the people online said, you both need to talk to me.
Oh, we need to talk up?
We're so sorry, people online. I love you.
Okay. All right. but I remember basically when I was, everybody was like apartment, running into apartment when I was growing up. And for my family and stuff, I didn't want to live in an apartment because I grew up in my, my family home. So I just drove around and I started looking. I went into a model home and, I kind of remember the lady like, oh, well, this is a model home and this is a new phase that they're doing, new construction. And at that time, I was like, I don't know what she's saying, what's going on, showing me these lots and stuff. And at that time, she was like, well, let's do a credit statement. I'm like, got my information, and I brought all my stuff back. I started looking at these lots, and next minute she said, well, we'll start building. I'm like, huh? I bought the home, 7355 Sweet Pea Trail, Jacksonville, Florida. Aww. Yeah, 1992. My daughter was born in 92. So as a man, this is something that we have to do. So I went out and searched. I didn't look for the apartment. I went for the house. So if you're in an apartment, all you got to do is search. But we got people here that can answer all those questions and stuff.
I think that was one of my scariest things when I started to buy a house. Was I was so scared of the maintenance. I was so scared of buying a house seems so far out of my league. And then I just realized I went and bought a house. My very first house I bought, even the one I just sold down here in Fayetteville, I made $275,000 off of it in 4 years. So I live for free. So now it's in my head, I understand that when you buy something, it's free living because you're always going to make more money off of it because it's going up all the time. And so that's how you have to look at it. It's just worth it because it's like free living.
I think what we do, though, is that when we buy homes, we get sentimental with homes. Homes are supposed to be investments. You just live in your investment. And when you realize that it's an investment, you treat it as such, so that if somebody knocks on your door and says, I want to buy your home for $300,000 and you only bought it for $100,000, you'll be quicker to say, of course, let's talk logistics. But when you buy a home and it's an emotional buy, you're like, I can't do this. Yeah. This is my kids grew up here. Yeah. And this is when you get stuck. Homes are supposed to be an investment. That real estate is how you build a net worth. And if you keep making it an emotional thing, you'll never have net worth. A lot of us sit in this room have a negative net worth. If you want to change that, go buy something. Go own something. It changes immediately. It's not like, and no knock on First Man. It is not like when you buy a car, when you roll off the lot, it's depreciation. When you buy a home, they appreciate in value. So if you hold that home for 3 to 4 years and then you go and get it appraised and you're like, wait a minute, I got $257,000 worth of equity in this home. You take that $257,000, you flip it and buy another home. And then you buy another and another. That's how you do it. That's how you do that. We have to stop making it an emotional buy and make it an investment buy. But you live in your investment. You're sitting on your retirement. That's how you look at that. Because our retirement now is not what it looked like 20, 30 years ago. Because we all know when I was growing up, I was like, I got to get a job and I got to work there for 30 years. And then my 401k and I'm going to have to invest in stocks. So we all know what that looks like. That has taken a dive. You can't stay at jobs anymore now due to all of the things that have happened, COVID, pandemic, right? You lose your job, so there goes your 401k. So this is when you push back on, okay, well, I got my house and I've got equity in my house to use. But I did want to say something when you were talking about when you went to go look at the lots.
Right.
And she said, hey, we need to pull your credit. I think that's where a lot of us pump the brakes. No, I don't want you to pull my credit. And if that's you, then you know that you have got to do something so that you don't mind someone pulling your credit. When I talk to people about home purchase or even about businesses in itself, you got to have decent credit for that.
So take us through the first step. We got probably some people here that first-time home buyers. So
Okay.
let's take us through the first steps of the first-time home buyers, what that does.
And how we get our credit built.
And how we going to buy this home. First-time buyers, because basically when I bought that house, that was probably like $80,000 back then. That was 92. So how will a first-time buyer now, because they kind of stay in an apartment, they're paying $2,400
You should have
bucks a
kept that
month.
house. You would have been rolling.
Yeah, we got homes now. But, but still, we got. But first-time buyers now, and then we're looking at $90,000 versus what the price is today.
Right.
So take us to the first.
So first thing is, if there are individuals in here who would like to purchase, you have to reach out to somebody that can walk you through what to do to start that. And the first thing is going to be what your credit looks like. If your credit score is a 580, yes, you can purchase. However, it limits the programs that are available to you with that score. So hear me. If you have a 580 credit score, you can technically qualify. You would qualify for the one program only that will let you do that score, which is FHA. So that's Federal Housing Association. That is 3.5% down for that program. And the way you do that is if you want to buy a $400,000 home, you're going to take $400,000 and you're going to multiply that by 3.5. And that's going to be what's called your minimum required investment. So that's what you're going to need to have. So let's say your score is a 640 or a 680. Then what that does is I tell my clients, when you have higher scores, then I can qualify you for any program across the board. That gives you FHA, that gives you conventional, that gives you USDA, that gives you non-qualifying programs, which are going to be your bank statement loans. Those are your non-traditional income, where you have a P&L for my self-employed buyers who haven't filed their tax returns. You can do a profit and loss statement and still own a home. But understand that that specific program, any non-traditional programs, is going to require you to put more money down. So I recommend for the self-employed individuals that want to purchase that you file your taxes. So that takes us into a different thing of filing taxes. Please stop writing off everything, because you don't want to come up against the IRS. So you're like, I want to get a refund. But that is a mindset shift.
Yeah.
Because if you have worked 12 months and not gotten all of that money from January to December, you're doing yourself a disservice to just get $5,000 or $6,000 or $7,000 in January or February. That's going to be gone by April. So if you want to get more income, then just lower your tax bracket of what you're paying out to get more money. But stop writing off everything on your tax returns, because then when you come, and this is what I get all the time, and I try to do these seminars for groups of people before you file your taxes. Because what I find is they'll come and be like, I just got my tax return. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, I'm self-employed. And I go, okay. And I'm like, can I see your last 2 years of tax returns? Because if you're self-employed, we're going to look at 2 full years of returns. So if you've written off and you have, because a lot of people will say, but I made $100,000 in sales. That is absolutely phenomenal. But I'm going to look at your net. So whatever you wrote off, I'm going to go down to the bottom. And I'm going to be like, well, you had 100,000 gross sales, but you only said your company made $25,000. So now I am taking $25,000 and the same amount that you made the following year. So that means for 2 years, you only made $50,000. And that is the income that we are going to use to qualify you. Ask me how I know, because before I opened up my company, I was a mortgage underwriter. And this is what I did. So I just felt like I got tired of being the middleman, of seeing us make mistakes and no one telling you what to do to not be in this position year after year after year. But the thing is, it doesn't matter if we're all sitting up here and we're, giving you guys our time. We drove 4.5 hours to get here for you guys. It doesn't matter if I'm sitting here if you're not going to do anything about it. Yeah. A lot of us come in and sit in seminars, or we want to sit and get fed, but as soon as we leave out of the building, you don't remember anything, or you don't want to implement anything because you see that it's going to actually make you uncomfortable. But we become our best selves and grind the most when we are uncomfortable. We absolutely do. When you have to figure out, like, how am I going to get this? Oh my God. You will pull out all stops. You'll start remembering stuff that you didn't remember to do. You'll start baking more cakes and be like, you want to buy this cake? Oh, girl, I braid hair now. Come on, it's like $50. You will do whatever you have to do when you get uncomfortable. That's right. So stay uncomfortable, because it will make you your best self.
So Tamika, when you speak about the income, and I know that it's a lot of us, whether you work at Lowe's, McDonald's, so we got 2 in that household. How do you calculate the income of buying a home? Most people don't know this, so will you provide that information?
Absolutely. So if anybody's taking notes, the way we calculate income, we go off of gross income. So if your salary is $65,000 a year, you're going to divide that by 12, and that's the income that we are going to use to qualify you. So if your husband or spouse makes $85,000, we're going to divide that by 12, and that's the income that we're going to use to qualify you. But understand this, please. You have to be smart about that, because you do not take home your gross. You take home your net. So do not get caught up in wanting the Joneses to see you in this magnificent house that after month 6, you're struggling to take care of. You're struggling to pay for. So be smart about that. When I was in my 20s and 30s, when I was buying houses, there used to be this thing that we called, you need to buy a starter home. We don't buy anymore. Starter homes are gone because nobody wants to buy them. We look at starter homes like, that is not what I want to be in. But that is. And I'll tell you how you'll switch to that, because you're going to make this an investment, not a sentimental purchase, but an investment purchase. A lot of us talk about, I just want to own a bunch of homes. Well, starter homes is how you start that. You get in a home, you stay in it for 1 year, you save, and then you go to another one. You don't sell that one right away. You put a renter in. And then you go into your other home. If you want to get another starter home, you do that. You do it as many times as you want to. You've built your own portfolio of homes that you own.
So we look at that starter home as an investment now for me purchase my second home?
So you're going to treat it as an investment, but it's still going to be a primary.
Right.
So then when you go to get your next one, it's going to be an investment or a second home.
So that's as income as why.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. So when you move out of that home and then you go into your next one, you're going to use the income from the rental of the one that you just left to qualify for your second one.
Man, I'm ready to buy something.
No, we don't.
That sounds so easy, man. I'm telling you. I'm ready to buy something.
She's like, wait, got one for sale.
Yeah, I'm ready to buy it. Where is it? I'm ready to buy it. I got a team of people here.
And don't be afraid to buy a home that needs to be fixed up. There's programs, 203K loans that you can do that will help you fix the home that you want to live in. We have to start wanting to have something and stop trying to impress people. That's the problem we have. We want other people to be like, oh my God, her house is beautiful. Their house is beautiful. And you know good and well that on the 15th, you're like, Lord, I don't even have half of the mortgage payment. Right. So we have to start doing things that are smart for us. The investments have to make sense. It has to make sense.
Don't get defeated if you're listening to her and you're like, oh my God, I'm there right now. Like, don't get defeated. Like, it's always the reason you're sitting in a group like this today is so that you know knowledge to get out. But if you're in a situation where you're like, oh crap, like the first is coming, I can't even pay it. It's okay. Every single time you make a mistake, it's a learning experience to not do it again. You see, so it takes these mistakes. So don't feel bad about that, but we'll buy your house.
Y'all do know there are programs that will help you get out of that. Don't be afraid to reach out. Most of the time, if you have a mortgage and you're behind, when you go to pay your mortgage, there's always a little blurb on there that says, if you need loan assistance, you can click on it and they are there to help you. And then if you are going through that situation, the one thing that I'm going to say is don't be afraid to make a move. Don't stay in something that's going to have you broken. If you have to move from where you are, do it. That's when you can put somebody, listen, if you own a home and you're struggling and you're like, I just can't do this anymore, rent it and go and be a renter until you're okay. You only putting them in the home for 12 months to get back on your feet. You don't have to renew that lease after that 12 months are over. You can move right back into your home. Don't be defeated. You know, I think a lot of us feel like if we don't address it, it'll go away. And it doesn't go away. It does not go away. You have to be prepared to address those things head on. And guys, you're talking to someone that slept in her car with her kids for 6 months. I understand what it is like to not feel like you are never going to be able to get out of a situation. I get it. This is one of the reasons why I try my best to educate everyone so that you don't have to be me, because you don't have to be me. You don't have to be that person that was sitting in a car, not knowing what they were going to do, just not doing what I know, not living to my full potential. Don't wait till you get there to ask for help. Just ask for help. And then just make smart decisions about what you're doing, how you're living, and where you're going to buy or live.
So, Tamika, how will you help someone that's probably credit challenged if they don't have a 580 or they make good money? Mm-hmm. And what kind of program that you have? And I know you do a little some of this. So tell me a little bit something about the credit, what you provide. Also, like say you selling homes, mortgage. I mean, you got a list of stuff. Just give me some of the baby steps here.
So for those who are not at a 580 or who want to get a higher credit score, PMG has a program called Credit to Close. And that program it's a 90-day program. We do require you to invest in yourself. One of the things that I learned from the masterminds is that in order to be successful in business, I cannot keep giving away everything for free. You don't respect it.
Well, we're doing this for free 99.
Free.
This is free 99.
This is free 99. Yeah. But for those specific things, like no one respects it. So we do require you to invest in the program. And what we do is we have you do soft pulls on your credit report. And then we look at your credit and we evaluate how we can help you get your scores up within 90 days.
Give me the difference from a soft pull and a hard pull.
The soft pull, it does not impact your scores. A hard pull is going to impact your scores. So what we tell our clients is that if you know your scores are not 580, you need a soft pull. because there's no reason in doing a hard pull on it because I'm not going to be able to help you right away. But I don't want to continue to hurt your credit by doing a hard pull. But if you're up in the air and you think I might be 600 and 620, then we'll have you do an application so that when we do the hard pull, we'll know exactly where you are. But even if you have a hard pull done on your scores, it's only like a 2 to 3 point difference in your credit. So don't be afraid to do a hard pull. Most people, when they be like, I don't want you to pull my credit, it's because you know you have bad credit.
Well, I think since I've been in this business and stuff, and most people have a charge-off. That charge-off may be Capital One credit card. It's probably been there for about 3 years.
And I want them to leave it.
Yeah. So that's what you want?
Yes.
Okay.
Do not, any type of charge off, you leave it alone.
Okay.
Because on the mortgage side, we do not look at it.
Okay.
We ignore a charge off. Now, if you have a collection, that's different.
So repo?
Repos, we're not going to look at a repo unless it is less than 12 months. Then we're going to want you to pay it. We're going to want you to pay it.
Wow.
But with our program, when we look at your credit, we only tackle what we know is going to hinder you to purchase a home. Man. We do not do a full credit repair. Now, we do offer that for some of our clients that want it, but this program is for homeownership. So we're only going to look at your credit to see what's stopping you from getting approved.
This is good.
And we're gonna work on those things to get those things off to get your scores up. Now, as Kim mentioned, there were a lot of people that was emailing, and my team was emailing them back, just emailing them back, going, "Hey, this is what we need you to do. We need you to do that." And then we'd send them the information and would not hear back from anyone. And if you're not ready, then wait till you're ready.
So what's the reason people want a certain score? I mean, right now, I'm looking, my score is not that good. I want a home. I'm looking to buy this home here in Buckhead. So, I don't know if I can afford it, but if I got my credit right, then you can walk me through the house what I qualify for.
That's correct. And that's going to be with your income. So we're going to look at your credit and your income.
Right.
And what that's called is, we call it DTI, but that's debt to income. And how we do debt to income, for anybody that wants to know, you're going to take your income and you're going to divide it into the debts that report on credit. Not your rent, not your lights, not your cable, whatever is reporting on credit. Any ratio that's under 50%, you can qualify. You're going to qualify for an FHA loan. Any DTI that's under 40%, then you can qualify for conventional financing, because conventional wants your ratios to be 31 over 41. And that 31 number is the house payment. That's the mortgage payment. Now, we have a team full of people here, my loan officers, my realtors that we work with. They're here. We are here to help you. Do not leave out of this seminar without speaking to one of these people in this room. Because what did you come here for if you did not want to know if you can do this? It's 2025. As my assistant tells me all the time, it's tomorrow. He's like, 2025 is tomorrow.
We spent 186 hours this week. So we're gonna get something done. I think this is a lot of good information coming from Tamika. And I know you got some realtors that's here. Yeah. And how about small business? I know you mentioned about, a lot of people got LLCs. Anybody LLC? How do you do the income if they have a 9 to 5? How do that income combine? Because a lot of time this is what everybody's LLC now. We call it LLC Atlanta. But tell me how this works, though. Tell me if I'm working. I got my 9 to 5 here, over here at Saks, making $80,000 in the shoe department, and my LLC, the first man, I got $50,000. Break that down to me.
So we're going to use it all. Yeah. If you have a business that you are actually, because you heard me say don't write off everything. That's for self-employed people. So if you are claiming all of the income from your Schedule C, because that's where you're going to report as an LLC. You're going to report everything as a sole proprietor under your LLC, and when you file your taxes, it's going to be a Schedule C. So if you're going to count all of that income, we're going to give you all of that income. We're going to give you all of that income. And just know that when you're doing so this is what I found when I started my businesses and when I was doing LLCs. But of course, when you get you get experience as owning businesses, you switch from an LLC and then you become a corporation. So then there are two different types of corporations. There are C Corps and S Corps, and those make a difference in how you're building your business. So originally I was an LLC, but then I moved over to a corporation. That's because I have employees, I have staff, so I want the tax breaks for my business, so I needed to move over to a corporation. But for you guys that are doing your LLCs, do not file meals and entertainment. So sometimes and make sure you're watching your tax preparer that is doing your taxes. Because what happens is when you go to get your taxes done at Jackson Hewitt, H&R Block, in their mind, the only thing that they want to do is make sure you get a refund. So you need to, when you go and you look at it, and I know this because this is what I used to do. I used to go and look at I want that. I'm going to get 10. I need that. I never looked at what they were writing off in the businesses to see that my businesses were taking a $25,000 loss. I was only focused on my refund. So make sure when you go to look at your taxes or whoever is preparing your taxes, you flip and you look at your business and you make sure that your bottom line does not have a negative sign in front of it. If it does, that means you can't use any of that income for qualifying. Don't be afraid to pay the IRS. The IRS doesn't want your stuff. They just want their money. And you can tell them, Kim says all the time, she's like, when a bill collector calls you, pick up the phone and just say, I got $2. I can give you $2. When for the IRS, it's going to be the same thing. I can pay you $25. They're going to take it. They're going to take it. Give them $25 and then they're going to leave you alone as long as you give them that $25 every year. Every year. So don't be afraid to owe the IRS. So because if you file income on your business, you're going to owe the IRS. So just get that in your mind. You're going to owe the IRS. And I know a lot of you are like, girl, I can barely make it right now. But if you're paying your 10% in tithe, he always makes a way.
You know what I decided, Tamika? I decided that I was willing to starve.
Right.
I was like,
right.
I might have 2 or 3 years where I'm living in a 1-bedroom.
Yes.
With my kids, but I'm going somewhere.
Yes.
And so every single time I'd be like, man, I can't seem to get ahead. Like I'm just here. I would always tell myself, but this is just my building ground. This is my hustle season.
Yes.
And so I was like for 2 years just going to town.
Yes.
Like I had 3 and 4 businesses. I was buying me some t-shirts for like 99 cents and putting some Conquering Helen high heel on them and selling them for $25. And I was working.
Yeah.
And so I think it's important to understand that when you're in this building season and you're not writing stuff off and you are paying your taxes, that you look like, man, I'm sorry, I can't go out with y'all this weekend.
Exactly, yeah.
It's just realizing that you're paving the way for your future. And I promise you, we stand on Amos 9:13 here at Limitless. It won't be long now. God's decree said things are about to happen so fast. Your head is about to spin. And he also says, do not get weary in well doing for a due season. That due season comes because you keep doing the right thing. So if God can't even trust you with $40 an hour, how's he going to trust you with $1 million tithe check?
Yes.
That's a lot of zeros. Yeah. And so I realized, I started telling myself, the more zeros that I have to pay on my tax means I'm in a different
You're in a different tax bracket.
And so it's just talking to yourself and not allowing the people around you that don't even understand you. I'm the only one in my family that's ever done what I've done, so nobody in my family could give me input. I had to link arms with people like her and people like him outside of the ministry world so that I could understand I'm breaking the generational broke off my preaching family. And so you're going somewhere. Just understand that you're going somewhere.
So I think a lot of time we have some problems, some hiccups and stuff. and I know that our mind is on this house. I have my LLC, but my car just went out, and my engine, my transmission, it's about $4,000. How do you handle that with a client that's ready to buy a home? Because we all been there, and now we own this lot right now, and we need this car. The house is still in the back of mine. How do we
Deal with life.
how do we deal with that? Because you got the LLC, but the car salesman, what he want to do, like me, hurry up and sell this car. We don't care how you do it, but tell us the right way to do this.
So for me, because life does life, like I think we all know that, have gone through that. Some of us are still going through life right now. The difference, and I know y'all probably like, this girl gonna keep talking about tithing. You do not understand when I say it. So the way that I do that is I give 10% to God and 10% to myself. And I leave myself money over to the left. And I just make sure I don't mess with my seed money. Right? It gets hard, and sometimes we start saying, oh, I got my rainy day fund, but I don't want to mess with the rainy day. Girl, it's raining. Right. It's been raining. That's what it's for. That's what you were saving it for. It's raining. That's what it's for. So when you have a situation like that, where you're like, my car just went out and I want to buy a house, I got this $5,000. This is for my house. No, it's for your car. And that just means that delay is not a denial. It's just a delay.
Right.
And we get the opportunity to start over as many times as we need to start over. And at some point, you're going to get to the place where that $5,000 is going to be a blessing again. But the way I did that for me, I started praying a Jabez prayer.
Come on.
I started saying, yes, I started saying, Lord, bless me indeed. I was selfish with me when it came to my money, when it came to what I needed to do. Now, I love my family to death, but I am just as Kim. I'm the person that broke the generational curse in my family. And sometimes when that happens, your family is right on your heels.
Learn to say no.
They are on your heels with everything because you're the person that made it there.
Come on.
Right? So when you have situations like that, just fix the car, buy the car.
Buy the car.
Because here's the thing, if you have been working on your credit also, there are programs, down payment assistance, that are available for you who has been structured, who has been focused and dedicated on what they're trying to do. So if your score is a 640 now, and then you're like, man, I don't have my down payment. We do. And when you get a good realtor or any of these realtors that you want to work with, you're going to be honest with your realtor and you're going to tell them, listen, I had to use my money I had to buy a car. So that was my down payment. Can you help me? And most of the realtors are going to say, I need you to be in this area because these sellers are more in tune to give you closing costs. So all you have to do is come up with your earnest money deposit and due diligence if they require it. But when you have an agent that understands what you are doing, they are going to get what you need. They're going to be honest. You're not going to be able to get this house because this seller is not going to give closing cost. But this one will. It doesn't have all of your must-haves, but it has the majority of what you want. So do you walk away from that because it doesn't have your master bedroom is upstairs and not downstairs? Don't be crazy. Seriously. Remember that home is an investment. It's not an emotional buy. It's an investment. So when you're looking at them, remember that in the back of your mind. Of course you want to love the house, but remember, this is my investment. This is my investment. This is my investment. This is how I'm going to be able to buy another home. This is how I'm going to build generational wealth for my family. This is how I'm going to build generational wealth for my children's children's children. We're going to pass it down to each and every one. Take the emotions out. But just to answer Lowe's question, I'm sorry, first man.
Yeah. Either one is fine.
My man.
Either one is
First
fine.
man, you want to just take care of it. Get the car. Don't feel like you're stuck. Get the car. Make sure you've prayed about it. And if that's what you're hearing in your spirit, then you do exactly that, because that means God is directing you that way, and he's gonna work out the rest of that. He's gonna work out the kinks along the way.
So the LLC, could I put it in the business name? And
You absolutely can.
and that way you wouldn't see it on my credit when you get ready to buy the home?
You absolutely can. You can buy a home and put it in your business name. Now,
If I buy
the trick
car,
around that,
I can put the car in my name and you wouldn't see the car in my name? When
you can put it in your business name as well. And what will happen is when you go and buy a car and you put it in your business name, they are going to do a personal guarantee. So that means they're going to look at your credit to make sure your personal credit is good for them to put it in your business. So your payment will not report on your credit, but you know you have that payment. So when you're looking to buy a home, you make sure separately you're adding in that car payment into your debts, because it applies in real life. It just doesn't apply on paper. I hope that makes sense what I'm saying.
Well, they got me for life. They can go get this stuff right now. They got me for life. We're gonna eat good and live good and drive good and live in the best homes that we want.
And quickly, for anybody who has their business and your businesses are structured appropriately, there's business funding. Stop trying to fund your business out of your checking account. You'll be broke before you know it. You'll never be able to grow your business as high as you want to grow it trying to pay out of pocket. There are fundings, there are programs that are set up for you to utilize to be able to use that money to grow your business.
What program are those? I remember hearing the word NACA.
So NACA is not a business.
Right.
They are for your personal.
Okay.
So at one point I used to be so intimidated by NACA, right? Because I had my company and then there was
Right.
NACA. But what I found is NACA's not going to educate you. They're just going to get you into the house. So I'm finding that a lot of people are not understanding why, even though they have a 2% rate that they got many, many years ago, they can't afford their mortgage payment anymore. Because of the economy, your home value is going to increase. And when your home value increase, so does your taxes. So that $1,800 payment that you were making is now $2,600, and people are blaming NACA. No, NACA gave you exactly what you were looking for, but you want the home to increase in value. Now, there is something that you can do. It's like if you, anything like me that I used to do, when mail would come and my bank account looked funny, that mail sat on the counter for like weeks.
This big.
Like, so
go away.
you might have got a letter from the county that said your taxes are about to go up. We'll allow you to appeal or reject that. And if you don't respond, which they hope a lot of us don't, they're going to increase your taxes. But you do have the potential to go back and say, no, I do not want my taxes to increase, because you want your payment to stay the same. But understand, if you refute that, then you lose your value, because they're not going to give you both. And you want the value because you want the equity. Remember, this is an investment purchase, not an emotional purchase.
Hey, I don't know, like in this season, if I were y'all, I would pray about everything. So fiercely.
Everything.
Because you don't want to get a real estate agent that don't know Jesus. You won't want us to walk up in that house and say, "Oh, I feel the Holy Ghost."
Okay.
This is something, I could see you in here and you're like, man, this is like $200,000 over my, oh no, girl, we got this. You don't want somebody looking at you like they can't even afford it in their heads, so they automatically think you can't either. You want to get somebody that's got a lot of faith. It's like praying for a doctor, the right doctor.
Yeah.
So in this season, man, pray. Say, God, send me the right people in my life that can already see me in the house. Get people in my life that whenever I want to quit, they like, let's go. Let's go. We're going to go look at this house today. You never know how easy it is to buy a house until you just try it.
Y'all, when I was living in my car, I used to ride in neighborhoods, and I know people have done that before, right? I used to ride in the neighborhoods and look at big old houses and be like, and my kids are with me because we in our house. Like our house just was on wheels. So we was driving, looking, and, they would say, Mama, are we going to be able to be in a house like this? And of course, at the time, you're like, we sure are. But it took believing in me. It took believing in me because I was so stuck on, I can't get this. I don't deserve this. This is well above who I will ever be. And now my kids and grandkids are like, Grandma, does everybody else have a house like this? I'm like, they will. They will. And I think one of them said, we live in a mansion. We don't live in a mansion. And then my assistant said, yeah, you do live in a mansion.
You should never tell them no. Say, yeah, we sure do. We live on the best house in the neighborhood. What? I remember, Tamika, whenever I was selling my house down here in Fayetteville, it was like 5 minutes from here. And I wanted a top of the line. Like I didn't want nobody to be above me.
Yeah.
It was just, I didn't want nobody above me. And we went downtown looking for a place, and I looked up and I said, because it was cream building, marble, I said, I want to be up there. And that person said, oh, Kim, you can't be up there. That's way above your what you want to spend. I turned around the car and we started going back to the interstate. Said, where are we going? I said, you going home?
Yes.
I took their butt home. I sure did. Guess where I live? Up there. You got to believe in you when nobody else believes in you. Their mindset can't. And people in your family are going to tell you you can't because they can't.
Yes.
But that don't mean you can't.
They're going to tell you
can because you can do all things through Christ. You are a king's kid.
They're going to tell you, I don't think you should do that. You're not afraid?
My mama did.
Yes.
My mama did.
I'm sweating in here, about to go in here and sign these closing docs. But I wanted to be the difference in what I wanted other people to see. I wanted people to see that if I can do it, a girl that lived in her car for 6 months, and listen, my Grand Am used to be my thing. I shining it up. That's where I lived. If I can get out of the Grand Am into a 7,500 square foot house, you can, you all can. I'll hit everybody with Oprah. You get a house, everybody get a house. Like, you can do it.
But you gotta try.
But you have to try. You have to try. Nothing beats a failure but a try. Nothing beats a failure but a try.
Failure ain't bad.
It's not. It taught me how to pivot.
Yes.
Don't go down that road again. Let's go down this one.
Failure, you ain't trying
like, yes. And when you fail, you're just like, yeah, that ain't it. Let's regroup. Okay, I'm gonna go there. And one of those roads is going to work. You just have to be willing to go down the roads.
Faith without works is dead.
Dead.
So, Tamika, let's talk about some of our realtors. I mean, everybody's with 100% commission, right? Mm-hmm. And just like me being a car salesman, and I went to work at a Chevrolet dealership, and it was out in Conyers. I'm like, man, I'm driving way out here. I ain't gonna see none of the people who got money and stuff, and Buckhead and Alpharetta. But I had a realtor. She brought me the #1 draft pick to the dealership, Atlanta Hawks. His name was John Collins. Yeah. So it doesn't matter who you work for, it's how you're going to stand out. Mm-hmm. Whether you work, I don't care whether you work for Harry Norman, whoever the best realtors here, how you going to stand out? How you going to compete? You want to compete with the #1 salesperson. You don't want to compete with the person just
nobody got your sauce.
The third person. If she come in at third, I want to compete against the #1 because that's what I'm trying to be. I'm trying to be #1. Yeah.
So good.
So when we got salespeople, how do you, with commission sales, and it's been tough. They say the rate's been high. People waiting for the rates to go down. They wait for the price to go down. What if it don't happen?
What I tell people in the real estate world is to date the rate, marry the house. Because the rates are going to change at some point. Why go look at something that you absolutely love, but you don't buy it because you're afraid of the rate. If you can afford, I use this analogy all the time. When you go to buy a car, you do not ask them what the rate is. You want the car you want.
I tell them it's high.
Yeah.
Do you want the car? It's real high.
Because that's what you do. You go in and you say, I want this Lexus. So the salesman is going to take you to the Lexus. And then you tell him, I want this payment. And they're typically going to say, well, your payment's probably going to be this. It's not going to be there, but it's going to be here. Somehow or another, you get comfortable with that extra payment. You didn't ask about the rate. You didn't ask about the APR. You didn't ask about any of those things. You wanted that car, so you drive off the lot in that car. But when it comes to a house, the first thing people say is, well, what is the rate? What's the payment that you're looking for? So when I talk to people, I'm like, so where's your payment at? What payment range are you wanting to stay at? And then when they tell me, I say, this is the amount of house that you can qualify for. So you stay looking here. And then when they go, that don't have what I want. Well, we can increase you. That means you have to increase the payment. So it's the same thing. Date the rate, marry the house. Because once you marry the house, then you can go in and refinance, and then you are able to marry the rate when it becomes exactly what you want it to be. But do not get caught up in what the rate looks like if you can afford the payment.
So good.
Good. Man, we got a lot of entrepreneurs here in Atlanta. How do you handle a lot of the entrepreneurs that either want to invest, say they have a home, I'm looking to build my portfolio?
Mm-hmm. So there is a program, I don't know, my realtors probably will know what this program is, but it's called DSCR. It is Debt Service Coverage Ratio. That is the program. The good thing about this program is that you can have a 660 credit score or a 680 credit score, and you can do an 85% LTV. Okay. And what is good about this program is for my entrepreneurs. I don't care what your taxes look like. I'm not going to ask for them. I don't care what your income looks like on your pay stubs. I'm not going to ask for them. I am going to look at what the market rents are for the house that you're wanting to buy. As long as the rents cover the payment, you can buy that house. So your income doesn't apply. And there are some programs that will allow first-time buyers, first-time home buyers to do a DSCR.
So it's easy to get a house, so we just need to buy more homes and stuff and start investing and using our money the right way.
People walk in fear. Right. And when they realize that fear is not of God, a lot of the stuff will change.
Right.
Because fear is what stops us from doing the things that we want to do. And that's why we don't buy houses, because we look at them like that is a huge investment. Yes. And when you look at it as a huge investment and you have shifted your mindset to this is an investment, then you won't be afraid anymore.
So don't hang out with people that's got fear. They're telling you that you can't do something that they never done it before. Because basically, I mean, this is why, this is the best place to be in Atlanta right now. It's the best place to be.
And the market in Atlanta is a lot less than where I am. I'm in Charlotte. So our housing market prices are a lot higher here than it is in Georgia. So you can buy really beautiful homes for less price. You won't be able to if you don't try. Again, I'm going to tell you, we drove 4.5 hours just for everybody in this room so that you'll know what you can do. Don't walk out of here without finding out what you can do. This is why you came, right? Find out what you can do before you leave out of here so that you make a plan. Because 2025, y'all heard me, it's tomorrow. It's tomorrow.
So how do you look at people right now? Like I say, we're going into December. The taxes, normally you're going to get your tax return back at, you get your W-2, 1099. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's the best idea right now for people right now to try to close on to get to their home? What's a good angle?
So if you're self-employed, my self-employed people, do not file your taxes if it's your plan to buy a home without talking to an expert first, which would be us here. Yeah. Do not, because you're going to tell us what amount of home you're looking for, and we're going to be able to tell you what your income has to be to qualify for that type of home. So then you're going to know when you go to file your taxes, okay, I cannot write. She said that I need to be at $65,000 a year if I want to buy this amount of house. So it gives you a plan before you file your taxes. Because if you don't know, you're going to immediately go and file your taxes and you're going to shift back into, I just want a refund.
Right.
I just want to get a refund. I just don't want to owe. So self-employed individuals, business owners, online, like our information is available to you. I have a team of loan officers. The loan officers that are here, they reside in Georgia. They're here locally. You should not be doing these things without talking to someone that can walk you through what this looks like for you. Because this is the thing that I tell people, and my husband told me, love you, baby. My husband told me that he was like, babe, you gotta lay up a little bit. And I'm like, no, because when we're soft, you don't listen. When I'm soft, you're thinking, oh, I can do, no. And people are like, I want to wait till the rate drops. Right. And the question I always ask is, well, what was stopping you when the rates was in the twos? When the rates were 2%, what was stopping you then? See, now it's excuses. You've got to get past those. So it's 2025. Do something different. Want something different. I know we all do. That's why we're sitting here. You want something different. I don't care what it is that you got to do that's going to make it shift in you. Shift it. And get around like-minded individuals so that when you're feeling afraid, those individuals are going to say, no, I'm your accountability partner. We're going to do this. I'm doing it. You're doing it. We all going to buy a house in 2025. We're all going to start a business in 2025. Everybody, those are the people that you want to be around, not the naysayers. Because it's easy to be around the naysayers and get comfortable with don't do that. We want to do, girl, don't do that. Get around the people that says, no, we're not doing that. I'm not doing that. I want to do this. Don't you want to do this? So it's simple. It's really simple. Even though it seems like it can be hard, it's a simple shift. But just call our office. Email. Some of you guys are reaching out to Kim. Keep doing that. But if you ask for the information, do something with the information, because we're here to help you become better.
We had a lady in our church that was a single mom, and she came to me and said, Pastor Kim, this was last year, 2 years ago. She's like, Pastor Kim, she said, I'm so scared, but I feel like I need to buy a house. She goes, but I don't know how I'm going to do it. I said, then just make a commitment. You're going to do it. And let's figure it out. I said, because you got to make the first step. It's like saying yes to the dress. You ain't married yet, but she said yes to the dress. And so she did it. She went scared to death. She went, signed papers. She was calling the offices, texting me, oh my God, I'm scared. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. She's been in the house 2 years. She's already put a big old wooden fence up in that yard. She did it. And there was nothing on the inside of her that made her think she could do it. And now she's done it. She's crushing it. And it was just doing it scared.
Yep, doing it scared. And quickly, for all of you who are thinking about the maintenance, right? Like you're like, I just don't, it's a lot to maintain a home. There are home warranties. There are home warranties, $250,000, $500,000, $600,000. The most that you'll pay for one is how they're going to help you with your home. So don't always feel like you got to get the cheapest one because you're like, oh, I can afford that one. But understand you get what you pay for. So if someone is saying, hey, I can give you a home warranty for $700, you might not want to spend $700. But then when you go in and your heater goes out and you call them and all you do is pay a $20 deductible and they come out and fix your heater, you're like, hey, that was the best $700 I have ever invested. Your roof? Yes. So the home warranties are available for you. Again, there are some that are just terrible. You'll get something, they'll be like, no, we can't fix that. You just make sure that you're doing your research on them to make sure that you get the right one. I think there's one that I've been using, Choice Home Warranty. They are excellent. It cost us $600. Our gas stove went out. I didn't know what was going on. And of course, all that dollar signs was ringing. in my ear and all so on. I was like, oh my God. And then my sister said, don't you have a warranty? Sis, yes. And I was able to call. And they came out and they was like, oh, and they put in this new pilot and them things lit up like Christmas trees. So I was like, and I spent $25. It was the best investment. So anybody that's worried about maintenance, there are home warranties that you can get that'll cover any of those things. There's too much out here to help you be a successful homeowner for you guys to be renters. But the one thing I used to say in seminars, if you want to be a renter, I'm okay with that. Give me your name, the address, or the state that you want to live in, because I'm going to go buy a house and put you in it. Because if you're going to pay your rent faithfully, I'll let you pay off my mortgage. Win-win for both of us. So I'll keep getting the equity and you don't have to do anything. Because I'm buying a home warranty for the house you're renting. So if something goes out, I'll be like, oh, they're coming on such a, will somebody be there to open the door to let them in? But you have to think about that. Like, wait a minute. You want to put me in your home to rent? Yeah, because if you're going to pay the mortgage for me, I definitely want you in there. Because there are some people that just want to rent. I don't know what that's about, but that's okay.
But to me, because some people are renting because they don't know how to buy. If I'm renting a home, what should I do? Should I contact the owner and say, can I rent to own?
You can. You can contact the owner and say, can I rent to own? But I would recommend, if you're thinking that you want to buy before you rent, to talk to the homeowner immediately about that, because they can set up your lease to show that whatever security deposit that you put down will be refundable as an earnest money deposit or money placed back as down payment when you're ready to buy. So that's something that you want to talk to them about ahead of time, because you're going to do a different type of lease. But they might let you, when you're in one and renting, they definitely will. What I find is that when you do lease options to purchase, the home is typically a lot more than what the home actually is. And then you end up spending thousands, like tens to $20,000 that they want you to put down on the home, and then you can never buy it. But that's what it's set up for. It's set up as a failure sometimes. It's set up to take your down payment and then you never be able to buy it because it's overpriced. And then the homeowner's going to say, but you signed and agreed to this price. So if you want to do those things, then research the property. Make sure you know exactly what the values are of those homes in the area before you do a lease with option to purchase.
I think y'all are just really blessed, though, because I didn't have all this. My daddy was smart, but he had gotten dementia, and I would kind of figure things out. But y'all have got, we got the people for you. We've got the connections for you to make it easier so that you can have people in your life that really want you to win. And so that's what community is all about, is getting in a community where we're like, man, I got somebody for you. I got somebody that'll help you here. Yeah. And so this is the season for you to really prosper. You're blessed.
You do also a VA.
I do, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
We got in some military, maybe online, and we got a Marines that's here. No man left behind.
No man.
So my VA people that are in the room, have you guys bought your first home yet? Okay. And you know that you can buy another home using your same VA? Why haven't you?
Money.
No, VA, depending on, so it doesn't, the good thing about those that serve, right? They're going to let you continue to use your VA loan as long as you can, as long as you have guarantee benefits available. That is a simple call to my team so they can calculate what guarantee you have remaining, that you can still do a home 100% down, putting no money down, and still own the one that you have and treat that one as a rental and buy a new one.
What's the cap now with VA?
There is no cap. In value, there is no cap. If you want $1 million home in VA, they will allow you.
We're coming to y'all house next for Thanksgiving. We go next.
So the VA, have you guys purchased as well?
Okay.
You can buy again. You can buy again.
Yeah.
A lot of my VA, my veterans always thought that their certificate of eligibility was one-time use.
Is it any state, or you have to be in the same?
They can go wherever they want to. That certificate of eligibility goes wherever they go.
So they mean that they can have a beach home?
Yes. So the way it would work is that home becomes... So that home becomes a investment. So if you go and buy another home, that's going to be your primary. VA is not a stickler on you leaving one home. They want you to be in that home at minimum 12 months, at least a year. And then if you want to leave that home and you want to get something bigger or you need to go to a different state, they'll allow you to do that. Now, FHA is not going to allow you to do that. You're going to have one FHA loan, and that is it. FHA does not allow you to have another FHA loan unless a whole lot of parameters come into play. And I never even talk to people about them because they don't meet them most of the time. But I've had a few that has, and I've been doing this for about 15, 20 years. So that just lets you know I can count on one hand how many people has met. We want to do another FHA loan.
Man, y'all give it up for Tamika.
Amen.
Yeah. Anybody got any questions? Let me give you the microphone.
In your pocket? I got you, girl.
I have so many questions. So without, considering everybody's time, how can I set up a one-on-one with you to talk about the home that I own and all that came with that?
I literally have my whole entire team that's sitting right here just for you guys. Yeah. So my PMG ladies, raise your hands for me. They're all waiting for everybody to come and bombard them. Anybody that wants to purchase, we are here to do pre-approvals for anybody. It's not a hard thing to get pre-approved, and it takes 5-10 minutes. And then I have my agents who are here. If you ladies want to raise your hands, they are here as well to help you guys. Anybody that is wanting to sell, anybody that's wanting to buy, this is why they are here. We all came just for that. So they're ready for you anytime. Any questions, they can help you kind of navigate with what you are looking to do.
Do we have any members? Do we have any members of the church that's realtors? First thing first. Okay.
Hello.
Okay. This is the reason why we're here. Yes.
When you turn around and see those beautiful ladies back there, step. Okay. Yep, you go straight to them. They will tell you exactly how to maneuver through. And they are amazing, just as good as I am. They're going to be able to walk you through the steps in that.
Hi, thank you for having me. Hi, church. So I purchased land.
Okay.
Just trying to purchase land without being able to qualify for a house. So my investments are kind of backwards. I just kind of want to know like where to kind of direct myself because I do own land in another state.
Okay.
And I'm continuously buying land because I know that I can build property on it, but I don't have the credit.
Okay. So the first thing that I would recommend for you too is to find one of these ladies because they're going to be able to look at where you are and be able to guide you to the next step of where you are with your land. Because we do land loans and we do development, ground up construction for your land. And the good thing about that is we will take your land equity and use that as a down payment as long as you can get the score that you need. So do not leave out of here without speaking to one of my ladies so they can get you where you need to be, okay?
So would that be basically building her home from ground up?
That's exactly what it is. On whatever land that you're looking for. If you have land in Georgia, if you have land in Texas, Florida, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, we can help you do what you need to do. Okay?
Is that considered a new construction loan?
It would be our ground up construction loan. So there's different types of new construction loans that you can do. New construction that we most are familiar with is when one of these ladies, these realtors, are taking you to True Homes or Lennar Homes. They are building the property themselves. They carry the expense of the build, and then you get what's called construction to perm financing. For ground up construction, those are different loans where they are allowing you to buy land and then build on. Those are going to be custom builds. So you're going to have a custom builder that's going to build that for you. Yes. So USDA loans are available for anyone. They are 100% down loans. But the thing that I find with a lot of us is that our DTI becomes an issue. Because when I tell people that when you do down payment assistance, it's great if you qualify for it, you can have it, but it comes at a cost. Y'all have heard that free is not always free. So when you do USDA loans, they're wanting your ratios to be 29/41. And unfortunately, us in this room, that's never where it is because we have student loans, we have a car payment, life is life. Like, it's harder to get those type of loans, but we do offer them and can guide anyone in the room, anyone that's online. They just definitely need to reach out to one of my team members and they'll be able to tell them the steps to be able to get approved for that USDA loan.
Hey, Tamika, quick question.
Yes.
How many people can go on the loan?
You can have up to 4 people on your loan. Yes. When you start going over 4 people, it starts to get shaky because at that point they're like, you can't qualify. You got to have 4 people. You got to have 5 people on this loan. No. So 4 people, it could be 2 couples. 2 couples on a loan. And this is the thing that I tell people too, for a DSCR loan and you want to buy an investment property, 2 couples can buy a loan. 2 couples can go on a DSCR loan. Just create a business, do an LLC and put it in a business name and you guys can go and buy a home. Y'all just need to have the credit score. They're going to use the lowest score. So if one of the individual score is a 660, they're going to use that score to qualify. And you just need to have the down payment. They don't look at income. So you can definitely buy investment properties that way with couple to couple.
Hold on one second. Akia says, what about having low income, $40,000 a year with credit score 633 and really no credit established? Where would I start?
So we also do no credit scores, or we'll also do alternative credit. Because me growing up, my grandma, I don't know about y'all, but my grandmother used to tell us all the time, if you can't pay cash for it, then you can't afford it. So we pay cash for everything. Is that what you remember?
I don't know. Grandma must have got a lot of money.
Listen, grandma was like, if you can't, and that's the thing. But if you imagine when they were growing up, things were a lot lower.
Yeah.
So they teach you what they know.
Grandma Rockefeller.
Grandma didn't have money. But that was the thing, and it became a burden because I never had liquid because I'm paying cash for everything, and then I never had credit because I never built anything. I never got credit. So we do offer a program where we can do no credit on the loan if you have nothing on your credit report, where we would do alternative credit. So if you've paid your electric bill on time for 12 months, if you've paid your cable online for 12 months, your gym membership for 12 months, we'll take 3 alternative trade lines and use that for qualifying. So there is no excuse to not be able to buy if you have any of those things that you've paid on time for 12 months.
Does that apartment history count?
It will. We'll use a rental history as one of those trade lines.
Well, I had a 2-part, but you answered my question in regards to the land. But my next question is, this is pretty much for my mother.
Okay.
She is in a veteran house. Her and my dad used their VA loan.
Okay.
However, he passed, and so but now she's still there and still maintaining with the spousal. So when you stated that she can use, now would she be able to still?
She can, because the spousal goes over, it carries over to the veteran's widow. So the spousal benefits for VA belong to her, and so does the certificate of eligibility.
Okay, 'cause that's what she's been wanting to do, downsize from what she have to something else.
Please reach out to my team. Have your mom reach out to her team, because they'll be able to they'll be able to pull the certificate of eligibility for her and look at it and then help her maneuver through what she needs to do.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
How is student loans looked at when you're buying a home?
So student loans for VA, for veterans, student loans are counted different for everyone else. So you would be doing... So yes, so for the VA, for the veterans, and I'm gonna get to you too, but for some of my veterans who has those loans, they count them different. So the difference is it used to be that they did not hit you for your student loans years ago, but now they do. So they take 0.5% of the balance on your student loans. So 0.5% of the balance of your student loan, and that is going to be the payment that they're going to add to your DTI. Y'all remember what DTI is?
Debt to income.
Boy, Kim, you're right. They be listening to, oh my God. So they're going to count it. They're going to add it to your debt to income. So 0.5% of the balance of the student loan is what they're going to add to your payment. So add all of that up, add all of your bills up. And when you divide your income into your debts, if your DTI is under 50% and you want to buy, you need to be reaching out to someone on my team. Yes.
My question is, we bought our home last year. This is our third home. Mm-hmm. But I might have a great opportunity to move to a different state. I'm getting a better job. Could I, as a VA, can I rent that house out and still buy another?
The answer is yes.
Okay.
Because the other properties that you have, you already sold those. So you're only sitting on one. So your guaranteed benefits have just renewed. And that's what happens for veterans. So when you sell a home and you buy another one, your guaranteed benefits starts all over. So for renting, then they would just, as long as you still have 25% availability in your benefits, then you can take that and buy another property. There's some other little things that go with that too, but definitely reach out to my team and you can do that. Renting? So you can do that. The only thing you can't do is do a month to month because they're not going to qualify that as stable income if you do month to month. So if you have a lease that gives you Section 8 and this is what the amount will be, they'll give you that to qualify. Now, they don't give you extra income for VA. They only wash your payment. So it still takes away that payment amount for you guys.
Do you have any programs for property that you own internationally?
Yes, we do. We do. If you want to buy internationally, DR, we did DR, we've done Tulum. We do international purchases. You just have to reach out to us so we can get the logistics of where you're wanting to buy, and then the team can walk you through what that would look like for you. Okay.
Okay, we're one of the ones that bought a starter home.
Yes.
So we're in the process of going through to pull some equity out.
Okay.
So we can go ahead and remodify the house.
Which process are you doing? Because if you're VA, then you probably have a really nice interest rate currently.
Yes,
So
we are
are you
VA.
doing a full refi or are you doing a HELOC or a HELOAN?
We're doing, I believe it's a full refi.
Okay. So is your rate going to be higher?
That's what I'm waiting on the paperwork. Well, we're waiting on the paperwork just to see what the interest rate's going to be because currently we're at a 3.
Yeah, I already knew that you were at a lower rate.
Yeah, we are at a lower rate.
So you're not going to be in the 3s now. You're going to be in the 6s. So think about that before you do a full refi to see if you just want to do a HELOC or a HELOAN. Now, the HELOC is, if no one knows, it's a equity line of credit. So that means if you get an equity line of credit for $85,000, you can use $85,000. You can do whatever you want to. You can go and buy another investment property with that $85,000. And then when you do it and you build it out and you sell it, you put another $85,000 back and it just starts over. It stays available to you each time. Or you can do what's called a HELOAN, and that's a standalone second mortgage where it's like an installment. It's like if you buy your car, you know that it's not finished until you pay the car off. It's going to be that way. But I recommend that you get some details on what a second mortgage would look like before doing a full refi on your home, because you're going to go from a 3 to a 6 quick.
Right. So that's when he was talking. I was like, send me the paperwork. Let me look at it first.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to take anybody's money away from them, but
Right.
the main thing is it has to be a benefit for you, and you're doubling the rate just to get the
Exactly.
equity when you don't have to do that.
Okay.
If you're going to get a 6, then you might as well do a HELOC or a HELOAN to get that interest rate.
Okay, and my next question is, when you say you just put the bills to the side, so we did get our property statement.
And you
tax
put it to the
statement.
side?
Yeah, but I'm gonna go pick it back up. So I can make sure that my taxes, that our taxes are not going up. So I'm gonna go back and pick that bill back up to look at that to make sure.
I'm telling you.
So I can call Fayette County because I don't want no issue with Fayette County. Okay. So it's a twofold question. So this one is for the first man. I'm getting ready to retire. Well, I'm kind of like putting it off a little bit. I've already been talking to Saint because first I was telling my Saint, what can I do at the church? So I'm trying to figure out what direction to go in because
Just do what you want in your heart and don't worry about the retirement. Warren Buffett is probably 90-something years old, and I think a nonprofit, this is where we should be giving some of our time and serving and figure it out on a nonprofit, 501c.
You may retire
Yeah.
in one field, but that don't mean you retire.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, because I work for the Internal Revenue Service. I've been there like 40 years, and it's like I've been all through the facet of Internal Revenue Service. So I'm the one you really don't want to see. So when you were saying all those good things, thank you. So that was an avenue that I was getting ready to try to open up, especially as nonprofit, because we really don't understand the tax business. And I see so many that have to sit before me with tax issues. I see so many that sit before me that, hey, I need to redo they'll come in because they just came to you to want to buy a house. And now they have a negative income, and they want to. Can you amend my tax return? Well, I work there, so of course I can amend your return. But but I'm telling them, look, stop writing off everything. Right. You know, there are certain things that if you're getting ready to buy a house, you want to show positive income and not negative income. So everything that you were saying is true. That was the area that I was going to try to open a business up in, but I don't know. So I'm
Open the business.
That's what I was thinking. You do know.
Yes, open the business.
You do know.
Y'all, we're in an economy right now where Uncle Sam just doesn't do it by itself.
Go, girl.
You do, everybody knows that.
Right.
You have to have additional income. Open, I know it was for first man.
Yeah.
Open the business.
Open the business.
Open it. Open it.
You got nothing to lose.
It's too many people here that can help you. If you're like, oh, I don't know, it's too many of us that have opened up businesses that can help you in that process. But open the business. And it's not just for you. If there are people online that are feeling just like you, open the business. Open it. Start. Just start. It's too many of us who have started businesses and hadn't made any money yet, but you started the business. So open the business.
And I think a lot of times people come to me and say, I don't know if it's God. You won't know it's God unless you start moving.
Yes.
Like God is not going to sit and hold your hand. If you've got a pit in your stomach and say, man, I need to do this, do it.
Do it.
And you'll know when you get down the road if it was it or not. And if nothing else, you learn experience. But do it. When people say, I don't know if I want to do it, at least you won't be 70 years dead in the ground and your dreams laying in the tombstone. Just do it.
But you just do it. I mean, you just write what you want to, being on commission, I write down the beginning of the year what I want to make. I don't know how I'm going to make it. I just follow that plan and stuff, and that's why you got to look at steps. So if you want to have a business and like you say, you work for the IRS now, and basically if you're amending taxes, so that means that I need to go back and get my taxes amended. Now I got to pay $5,000 to Uncle Sam, but I'm in that house today, so I don't care about that. I pay Uncle Sam. It take me 5 years. I'm gonna write it off. Can I write the house off next year?
I'm gonna be dead, IRS, ma'am. Owing the IRS. Just throw that out there.
Let me ask anybody. Come on. I know you got your hands up, but let me ask anybody. You know when it's time to get money? Nope. When you already got some. Ain't nobody giving you the money when you ain't got any. You don't get any. Nobody giving you any loans when you got what? Bad credit. So the way you do it now.
And I'm gonna tell y'all something else. Nobody knows what they're doing. Okay? Nobody. Tamika, First Man, me, the people that are on your dream board, nobody really knows what they're doing. They just had the nerve to do it. And you learn with your knees knocking, right? Yes. So nobody knows what they're doing. You're not gonna know what you're gonna do, but you're gonna figure it out as you go. But you gotta start with a yes. You saying you know?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, we got a question.
So, online question: are there any programs for purchasing a home for my parents, or a program to help build an additional dwelling on my property? I live in Florida.
So there are parent loans. So it is a conventional program where, so anybody who has elderly parents and you want to take care of them and you want to buy them a home, but they can still, take care of themselves. You can buy a home using a conventional program, and you can buy it for your parents. You can buy it for your parents. I would not do an ADU online because that's going to put you in a position that if you ever want to sell, you'll have a problem getting the value because homes around you may not have ADUs. And ADUs is an additional dwelling unit on top of your home. So keep that in mind. Of course, it sounds great to add because you can get somebody to pay that and get money from them. But when you want to sell your home, you're going to struggle to do that. You're going to struggle to be able to find somebody that will.
Last question.
We got to do their thing.
We got some questions. Hey, hold on.
Last one.
Whose house is this today? Whose house is this today? Let's get this right. Now, hold on. Y'all getting this for free 99. We got time. We got time today. We got time today.
Yeah, so for that individual online, I would prefer you do a loan for your parents and put them in there versus doing an ADU. If you're looking to make extra money, then give me a call so that I can help you set up to get an investment property and get the money from that versus adding on an additional unit that may put you in a position to not be able to sell the property. And you might not get the permits for it anyway since other people don't have it.
So I have a quick question, and this is about tithing. So I know you tithe your gross for your 9 to 5, which is your W-2 and stuff like that. But let's say you get a loan. Do you tithe that also?
I couldn't.
Tithing. So
tithing?
Yes. So
okay.
I know you tithe your 9 to 5, the gross on your 9 to 5, your regular pay stub money.
Yes.
Or if you have a side business, I'm assuming you tithe the gross.
Absolutely.
So I have a question. Let's say you get a loan. Do you tithe that also? Because I can't find anything on
So here's how, listen, I used to struggle with that too. Like someone would give me money. I'd be like, do I tithe on this? No, you make an offering on that. You offer on a loan. If you get a loan and you got extra money, then you offer. But your tithing is going to be the income that you are receiving. So you have a self-employed business and you're making money from it, you should be tithing on it. If you get an invoice for somebody and they pay $1,000, pay your 10% on that. But if I get a loan, I just...
Buy the house first?
But for me, in reference to having a loan or something like that, I just make an offering. I offer on that instead of tithing on that.
Any questions?
Any other questions? You can. It just depends. So chapter 13, you can buy a house day one out of bankruptcy. Chapter 7, you're going to need to wait about 2 years before anybody will want to talk to you about buying. But we can, we'll be able to help you in reference to that as well, though.
But tell them a little bit more about the 13, because I noticed chapter 7, you write everything off.
So chapter 7 is all of your credit card bills and all of that stuff. That is one where you are writing off everything and you're not being required to pay anything back. The chapter 13 is where you're trying to save something. And most of the time you're trying to save your car, you're trying to save your house, and you're making payments on that. And those typically are about 5 years in that program. So you can buy, but you have to get, you can buy when you're in a bankruptcy, but you just have to get approval from the bankruptcy court in order to be able to do that.
So you're still taking the 13, you're still looking at the income as well?
Yes, we still look at the income, and then we're going to add in your BK payment in that too to make sure that you qualify. So just keep in mind, if you're wanting to do a Chapter 7 and you're wanting to buy, no one's going to want to look at you until about 2 years after you're out.
Okay.
Yes.
So anybody that's buying,
so I'm going to send my team. I'm going to send my team out.
Tomorrow
So my
is your
team
time.
will go out. My agents will go out if you want to go out. They're going to be in the other room.
this is what's wrong with preachers now. They're trying to run everything. This is what's wrong with preachers. So think about it. If you guys need to buy a car, if you have a
Agents,
business,
you guys can go on out to agents.
put the car in the business name. Don't go out and put it in your personal name, because it could mess up your debt to income.
It absolutely can. Before you do anything, if you're like, man, I want to buy a house, and then you're like, but I want to do, you need to call somebody, because we're going to be able to tell you exactly what you need to do and what that looks like before you do it. Before you do it. Don't call us after you did it, because now you might have to wait 5 years. And 5 years is a long time. So reach out to us before you make that kind of decision.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes, so my team is in the other room waiting on anybody. Do not leave here without finding out what you can do. You drove here. You know, Kim always tells us that she's out here in the boondocks. So if you drove out here, you need to go in there, and they're in there waiting for you. This is what they're here for. They're here to make sure that they answer your questions and get you the knowledge before you leave. 2025 is what? Is when? Come on, y'all. It's tomorrow.
Pick their brain while they're here. Let's brainstorm.
Thank y'all so much for having me.